Hello everyone, Donna Gray here, your Stamping Up demonstrator from the Northern Rivers area in New South Wales, Australia. I just wanted to jump on and show you this awesome coordination product that is designed to go with our Thoughtful Blooms, but also our Sending You Thoughts stamp set I think could go with it as well. So these are brand new coordination products and they're available on the 3rd of February from my online store. And every year is celebration time. So celebration at the moment, for every $90 that you spend, you get a free item. These two stamp sets are free items. So if you spent $90, you could get the Thoughtful Bloom stamp set for free. If you spend $90 with me online, you could get the Sending You Thoughts stamp set for free. So if you actually spend $180, you could get both of these stamp sets for free by just spending $180 before postage through my online store. But what Stampin' Up do is they sweeten the deal even better. They bring out these coordination products. So when they brought out this coordination product, I was like, wow, that is super, super cute. And until you actually cut this massive framelit out and see what it looks like, you have no idea how cute it is. So I've actually cut one out here in watercolor paper. So I'll pull that away so you can actually see that. Now, this is how super cute this gorgeous die is. So it's designed to stay in your piece of cardstock, okay? So, and the sad part is we don't have a circle big enough to cut it out. I would be happy if we had a circle framelit big enough to cut it out, but we don't. We could cut it out by hand if we were clever enough. And I decided to cut it out of black. So what I wanted to do was, I've already done a video showing you how to make this gorgeous card using this awesome framelit. So what I wanted to do is just show you a couple of different techniques of what I thought to do with this awesome framelit. So that's why I've cut out two, and I'm just going to do some different coloring techniques and show you what it could look like. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to watercolor a piece of our watercolor fluid paper. Oops. And the reason, sorry about that, the reason that's what happens when I have too many things on my desk. And the reason why I wanted to show you what it was like to use it on the watercolor paper. Watercolor paper is specially designed to move our inks. So it's the best way of getting the look that we want. So what I actually wanted to do is I wanted to use some pretty strange colors here. So I wanted to use that one. I wanted to use pumpkin pie. I want to use mango melody. And I also want to use, I think, daffodil delight. And I'm thinking I might even use some soft suede might be enough. Okay. So I wanted to create a bit of a background here. So the first thing what we do with our watercolor paper is load it up with water. And I'm just going to do this and then I'll leave it to dry and then we can come back and see what the look looks like afterwards. So watercolor paper, load up your paper with water first. Load up your paper with your water first. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from my lightest color, which is Daffodil Delight. So I'm going to squeeze my Daffodil Delight and get some ink on the top, which I wasn't strong enough. Squeeze it harder again. And there's a bit of color. So I'm going to, at the top, I'm going to start with some Daffodil Delight. And I'm just going to add some Daffodil Delight there in that top. Okay. And that looks great. In between colors, just clean your brush off. I've just got normal kitchen paper towels here underneath. And then I'm going to go through with my Mango Melody. So we're going to add a little bit more depth to that, that color. And I need to squish harder. I need to build up my muscles, I think. Okay, so we're going to pick up that Mango Melody and we're going to go in with it. Just adding a bit more colour and a bit more depth into there. Okay, the next colour we're going to go through with is Pumpkin Pie. So we're going to add a little bit more colour again with our Pumpkin Pie. And we've got some colour happening there. So clean off that brush again, in with the Pumpkin Pie, and this is going to add another lot of colour here, which is fantastic. Okay, which that's looking great. Then I want to go through with my Kajan Craze and add a bit of, oh, the Kajan Craze did really well in that lid. So pick up some of that and pop that in there. That's looking beautiful. Exactly what I wanted. And don't be scared to go up through that a little bit. And with watercolouring, you can just keep adding colour. To get more depth, you can just keep adding and adding with your colour. Okay, and now I'm going to go in with my soft suede. I'll close up all those ink pads so I don't get it everywhere. Squeeze my soft suede. Get a bit of ink happening there. Pick it up and come through here. Yes, that's the colouring I wanted. Okay. So we're getting quite a nice colour here. I think I might even go through with some early espresso as well. So what I'm doing is I'm just looking at the colours that we have and getting the effect that we want. Where is my, oh, there it is. Okay, getting the effect that we want. I may go back through and add a little bit more colour up through this top section. Squeezing that to get that to go on the lid, which I didn't really get much. I might have to use my early espresso. Have I got it here? Might have to use my re-inker. Anyway, we might be able to pick up enough in there to get that to happen. I'm thinking I could even go through with a little bit of real red. Get a bit of red happening in there. So with watercolouring, the main thing is just play around with it and add a little bit of colour here and there. Yes. It's giving me a bit of the look that I want. And we might even just a little bit up through there. Okay, see how I'm getting just a few little bits like that. Okay, so I'm just going to set that one aside and let that dry. If it hasn't dried, later on I'll come through with the heat tool and we'll dry that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that away, get rid of some of the water off there and pop that aside on my table. Okay, so now with this piece, what I actually want to do is instead of using, I'll turn that over, instead of using the aqua painters and my ink, I wanted to bring in some of the pigment sprinkles. Now, we've got some really nice colours in these pigment sprinkles, but we've got to be really, really careful with how much we use of these pigment sprinkles because they're very, very potent. They definitely have lots and lots of colour. Just going to check I've got water in my spritzer here. Yes, that's water, so we're good to go. Okay, so now you could do this one of two ways. You could pre-spritz it and then sprinkle your colour on, which I think I might actually do that anyway, just to make it sit a bit nicer for me. So I'm just going to pre-spritz. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in, we've got Melon Mambo here, so I'm just going to bring in my Melon Mambo. Now, I have actually popped a bit of washi tape, which it looks like it's gone AWOL, but anyway, I'm just going to try and see if I can sprinkle those sprinkles just onto some of the flowers. Like that. Okay, so we've also got some granny apple green. So I'm going to sprinkle the granny apple green. And look at the colour of the granny apple green when you see it in the, it's orange, but believe it or not, it comes out green. So I'm just going to sprinkle the green where the stems would be. This may work, it may not. And I also want to do, we have Gorgeous Grape. So I'm going to add a little bit of Gorgeous Grape just onto those flowers as well. Now this is a really fine powder. It's really intense. So it will definitely colour very, very easily. Okay, so we've got that there. I'm now going to go back through and I'm going to spritz again with my spritzer. And you're going to see the colours appear. Okay. There we have some gorgeous colour happening on that beautiful die cut. Now if I lift it up, you may get to see it. You can see that there. So now I actually want to add some more garden green to this bottom part because I want it to actually look quite green. So I'm just going to add some more green around here and get that to go nice and green for us. We can also come back through with our aqua painters and we can spread that if we want. I'm going to spritz it first and see what happens when we spritz. Okay, so if you want to keep that look, you can let it just dry like that. We actually have Bermuda Bay. I don't think I want to use Bermuda Bay through the top. I think the top can stay just sprinkly like that. So that's looking quite cute as well. So I'm actually going to bring in, I think I'm going to bring in the heat gun because I want to dry these so you can see the effect that I'm trying to get. So I'll grab my heat gun. Okay, and plug that in. And we will start to dry this off. Now, be careful with your heat gun because if there is water and there's a fair bit of water laying around, it will move that water around and it will actually send it shooting across your die cut, so be careful. And there's a little bit of brownish tinge happening there that I don't like, so I'm just going to get rid of that because that's where the pink and the granny apple green were starting to blend. So this is a super, super awesome way of using this framelit in lots of different ways. So the way that I actually did this one here was I actually sponged it with my makeup brushes and used my oval makeup brushes and just sponged the Pear Pizzazz down on the bottom and the Balmy Blue just on the flowers. Okay, I'm going to pop that one aside to let it dry, and I'm going to bring in my other piece that I had and we'll dry it. Remember, your watercolouring is always going to dry lighter, so don't be scared with how much colour you're going to load onto your watercolour. because it actually always will dry a lot lighter in the end. Just going to turn that one over. And the beauty of watercolor paper is too, you can see that it doesn't really bow up when you wet it. When you wet normal Whisper White coloured cardstock, you will find that it will bow up and buckle when you've got the water, where the watercolor paper tends to not do that. I'm going to take that away because it's got pigment sprinkles on it now. And you will find out when you start playing around with your pigment sprinkles, you think you've been really tidy with them, but when you go to wipe your surface, they are absolutely everywhere on the surface of your desk and you don't realise. Okay, I'm going to bring that heat tool back in again. So I'm actually going to show you, I'm just going to layer these up onto some quick card bases, but just show you how quick you can get some different looks with using this one framelit. When I looked at the framelit, I was like, oh, what am I going to do? And then I was laying in bed the other night and I was like, oh my Lord, I could be doing sponging, I could be doing watercolouring with that. There's also a little framelit that comes in the set that actually matches the framelit. Where did it go? They all crashed on my desk. And you can cut out the little flowers and stick the little flowers on in a different colour as well. So there's that option that you can look at as well. Okay, so I think that's just about dry enough that I can actually cut that with my paper trimmer. I'm hoping, it's very hard with doing videos for the time frame that you have in being able to cut and things when things have to dry. So I'm going to bring in that. I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer. Okay. So I'm going to cut this. I want it to be 3 3/4 wide. So I'm going to do 4 on that side and 3 3/4 that side, and that's going to work really well. And I'm going to do it 5 1/2. Actually, no, I'm going to do it 5. That would be nice. Okay. Now, because I've wet that watercolor paper in my trimmer, I've got a few furry ends. And honestly, with an emery board, you can just go through and remove those furry ends. It is nothing to do with the blade on my trimmer. It is to do with the moisture that is in that piece of watercolor paper. And you've also got these bits too that you may want to use. Actually, I could use that bit. That bit's something that I'm going to use. Where are we? 5 1/2. I've got an idea for that bit. Okay. So I'm going to make a really, really quick card using that gorgeous watercolor piece of cardstock that we have. And we have this. Look at that. Is that not super, super stunning? I'm actually going to cut a little bit more off that. I don't like that white up the top there. So I'm going to cut that down a little bit further again. I'll just pan out a little bit so you can see a little bit more of what's happening. Okay, so we did that at 5, didn't we? So we might do that at 4 3/4. I think that will be fine. And once again, I'll go through with that emery board just to get rid of those little furry pieces that want to hang around. This is coming together even nicer than I thought. It's beautiful. Okay, so I'm trying to think of what coloured card base I want to use on it. Do I want to use black? Or do I want to use, let me see. Do I want to use black? I'm thinking black could look quite nice, to tell you the truth, as a base. We might do that, and then we can pop a little sentiment up down the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to cut a base for my card out of our black, basic black cardstock. So I'll just show you how, and I really need to clean my trimmer out here. So I'm going to cut that at 5 3/4 inches by 8 inches, like so. Okay. I'm going to fold that in half, and with my bone folder, I'm going to crease that nicely with my bone folder. Like so. Okay. And then I'm going to layer these up on here, which is looking super, super cute. I love it. I absolutely love that. Okay, so I'm just going to, I'm going to glue that down directly onto that watercolor piece of paper. I need to poke out those little bits that are still in there. So there's still a few little bits in there. Poke those out. Wow, I'm having so much fun playing with this set. I'm loving it. The more I use it, the more I'm loving it. And sometimes you can do that with sets. Sometimes you can look at them and go, that's not something that I would probably use. You know, I probably don't see that I would have the use for that. And then you get in and you play with it, or you see some other people play with some of these products and you go, wow, why did I overlook that? But I'm having a lovely time with this. Okay, so I'm just going to glue that down onto there so it's nice and straight and it's crooked as. Okay, do that. So the beauty of Tombow is you've got that wiggle room. I haven't stuck my flowers down yet. I just wanted to get that nice and even on that piece of watercolor paper, and now I'll just pop those flowers down. Okay, so I'm loving it, absolutely loving it. Okay, so I'm going to just pop that up onto the front of that card with some dimensionals. Then I'm going to stamp a sentiment out of one of those two stamp sets. Okay, so I'm just going to on there like that. Okay, and then I'll have just a little strip of, oh, I don't think I want to do white. I think I want to do cream. Very vanilla. That looks better, the very vanilla. Sometimes too with a sentiment like that, just looking like that with the colouring, sometimes it's just a simple case of, oh, that's not actually going to go with that. It makes it so much better when you pop them together and go, yep, that one's going to work. So I think that the congratulations that I used before, which is here in my other video, I think I'm going to do, I think it will fit on there. We will see. Just need to clean that stamp off. And I think I'm going to stamp it in soft suede. Okay, so I'm just going to ink that up and get above that, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it's going to be straight and it's all going to fit. And it is perfecto. Okay. So I'm just going to pop that there. I want to use my triple banner punch just to banner the end of that, which is here. So I'll just pop that in and pull it through till I can see my word, and I'll just pop it back in there a little bit further and pop that off, and we have congratulations, which looks superb. Okay, and I just want to pop that up onto some dimensionals as well, and I think I might just be on the safe side. I'll use my mini dimensionals so they don't pop out from behind. There. So take the backings off that. And I'm just going to, on the inside, I'm going to grab some cream cardstock. So I want that to sit there, which I think looks fantastic. I'm going to grab a piece of cream, very vanilla cardstock. So we'll trim a layer for the inside. So I need that to be 5.5 inches by 3 3/4 inches, like that, for the inside there. And I think I'm just going to take that gorgeous piece there and line that on the inside layer. So when you've got dark colored card bases, you really need to line the inside. I line the inside of every single card that I do, but you really need to line the inside with a light piece of cardstock, because you need to think about the person that's sending the card being able to, and I'm just going to trim off, there's a tiny little bit there that's over, just trim that off, and then I'll pop that to the inside of my card like so. Okay, so you've brought a little bit of the watercoloring from the front of the card to the inside of the card, which is super, super fantastic. And I just want to finish off with a little bit of Wink of Stella and probably some rhinestones, if I can find where I put my rhinestones. Oh, there they are. Okay, so we'll grab some of the rhinestones and we'll pop some rhinestones on the front. And then I'll just show you a neat little trick that I do with my Wink of Stella. So I'm just going to add a little bit of bling. So I always tend to do things in threes. So, and a larger one just down there. So that looks pretty cute. And the last thing I want to do is I want to squeeze a little bit of my Wink of Stella into the barrel, and you can see when you're squeezing it that it's starting to come down through the barrel of your Wink of Stella. And then I'm going to grab something hard and I'm just going to spritz some of that gorgeous Wink of Stella over the top of the front of my card, and you can see we have some gorgeous shimmer and shine. So hopefully you liked that video today, and please feel free, if this is the first time that you have watched my video, please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure you click the bell notification down in below this video beside the subscribe button, and you'll be notified every time I upload a video. Once again, all of the items that I have used in this video today can be purchased through my online store. There's another example of what I've done with this gorgeous coordination framelit, and I will actually layer that up and make that one into a card as well. So thank you very much for taking time out of your day to spend a bit of time crafting with me, and as I said, I would really appreciate your online orders. You can find the link to my store in the show more box down below, and until next time, have a lovely day. Bye for now.